Wind in your hair, finger in the air, buckle up that chair, you will fall out. 12 cylinders, 8 miles per gallon, 5.3 liters, 3 gears, and 2 gas tanks. What the hell is going on here? Designed in the 1970s, built through the 90s, and offered in thousands of configurations throughout the years, the XJS is now an invasive species found all over the planet. They don't hold value, they don't go fast, and they don't save gas. But they do make you proud to deny those luxuries. This particular XJS is a Hess Eisenhardt edition. Hess and Eisenhardt, don't try to spell it, was a company that got its start making armored vehicles for World War I. After the wars subsided, veterans started booming babies, and the company found success making armored cars for the rich and the famous. This includes Harry Truman, John F. Kennedy, and Elvis M.F. Presley. Actually, the limousine JFK was assassinated in was a Hess Eisenhardt edition. Let's get back to the story. Jaguar hired Hess Eisenhardt in the late 80s to modify XJS coupes into convertibles in an effort to test whether the market was ready for such an innovation. Can you imagine? No top? So this car started its life as a coupe. Did it hurt? In 1989, Jaguar began making its own convertibles, but with a few changes. Aesthetics were important to Hess Eisenhardt. Because of this, they insisted the soft top retract all the way into the body. In order to do this, the gas tank had to be replaced with 2 smaller gas tanks. It is a complete system that feeds the bottom to the top, but requires 2 fuel pumps. Because of it, really this car requires 2 of everything. There are even 2 inline 6-cylinder engines under the hood, kind of, if you think about it. Originally, Hess Eisenhardt was given 2,000 XJS coupes. A fire in the factory in Ohio caused a loss of many of these examples. The fire also destroyed the paperwork confirming how much was actually lost, so it is unknown how many of these still exist today. The ones that are for sale online have a huge range in price, and the confusion in its history makes the value even more a gray area. In addition to its beauty, rich history, and market disruption, the XJS is a fun experience to drive. It doesn't have acceleration power, but your passengers will all fall asleep on the highway at 100 miles per hour. That's how comfortable it is, which is saying a lot for a car made in the 1980s. Have you ever had a seatbelt tan? Anyway, the XJS is probably one of the most underrated classic cars in the world right now, in my opinion, in my own humble opinion, as the number in circulation begins to drop. Let's get in and pretend it's 1988. It's got heated seats, power everything including the antenna, car phone, a live gas mileage indicator that paved the way for the modern infotainment screen. The XJS was 30 years ahead of its time, and there's something very strange about driving it. In 1988, the world saw its first internet computer virus. That kind of makes sense when you drive this car. Every time you get in it, it is a unique experience. It's like a transformer that has good days and bad days. It's like it has a mind of its own, a free spirit flapping in the wind. Or maybe it is a computer virus caused by marketing gimmicks, overpromises, and experimental software that the world wasn't ready for yet. I'll let you decide. It's a Jaguar, baby, yeah! The last cool thing, though, that I want to talk about with this car is the gearing. This is a grand touring vehicle. It is meant to be a convertible with lots of storage space. Because of the transmissions of the time, they weren't as smooth as your 10-speed automatic transmission in your Ford F-150. So the goal was to minimize shifting. A way to do this was to increase power and decrease the amount of times you need to shift. This makes the ride a little smoother for a car of its time, and it also gives you the freedom to select which gear you want to be in via throttle position, which is a lot of fun, actually. All the way to the floor gets you first gear. Somewhere in the middle finds second, and allowing deceleration at all will promptly produce third gear, unless you're going fast enough to need full third gear at full throttle. This car doesn't redline, because rich people don't race. The workaround is using the first and second gear selectors below drive to have some more control. Also, my mom thought it was fast, so it's not like it's a Geo Metro, you guys. Thanks for letting me get that out of my system.